A ban on electricity exports was imposed by the Ministry of Energy of Ukraine since October 11th last year. After the first massive attack by Russia and the first power outages, Russia spent the entire autumn and winter trying to destroy the Ukrainian energy system. As early as last December, according to the national company Ukrenergo, nearly 50% of the power system was damaged or destroyed by shelling.
No other European power system has been subjected to such a large-scale destruction attempt. More than 1,200 missiles and drones were fired by the Russians at key energy facilities. Unfortunately, more than 250 of them hit the target. 43% of the main grids were damaged. All thermal and hydroelectric power plants were shelled and received various degrees of damage. From the message of the national energy company Ukrenergo on Telegram.
After surviving the most difficult heating season in the history of independence, Ukraine resumed energy exports after a 6-month break. The corresponding order was signed by Ukrainian Energy Minister Herman Halushchenko on April 7th. 4 days later, the first megawatts began arriving in the neighboring Moldova, but the minister told the Associated Press that exports will only be made if Ukrainian consumers are 100% supplied.
It is 100% secured, so it actually gives us the opportunity to open exports, because otherwise it's impossible. I mean, exporting electricity when you have some shortage of generation inside the country, it's impossible. And that's why we stopped exporting the day after the first massive attack on the energy infrastructure that happened on October 10th. But today we see that we have reserves that allow us to export.
Poland has become the second EU country to receive Ukrainian electricity. Slovakia will become the third. This was reported by the national energy company Ukrenergo on April 15th.
Ukraine may start exporting electricity to Slovakia in the amount of 200 megawatts every hour starting Monday, April 17th. The relevant auction for the allocation of interstate capacity in the direction of Slovakia was held for the delivery date of April 17th. The auction allocated 100% of the available capacity in the direction among 4 participants. From a message from the national energy company Ukrenergo on Telegram.
Olena Pavlenko is an energy expert at the Kyiv-based analytical center Dixie Group. According to her, Ukraine will not be able to reach its full capacity as an exporting country for the EU countries this year. There are 2 reasons.
First of all, we need to rebuild the infrastructure. Secondly, we are still in a state of war, so there will still be damage caused by the Russian side. And thirdly, we have to prepare for next winter, so I think there will be some process. The nuclear power plants will have to do some repairs and solve other issues. So it will all be very flexible. But again, if Ukraine has an opportunity to not just take money, but to earn money, that is not a bad option.
According to estimates by the World Bank and the United Nations Development Programme, the scale of the damage caused to the Ukrainian energy system by Russia is exceptionally high. The priority needs for the reconstruction and protection of Ukrenergo high-voltage grid alone this year amount to nearly $1 billion. Therefore, the money earned from electricity exports will be primarily used to rebuild it, says energy expert Hennady Ryabtsev.
The money will go to the accounts of energy companies, which will send them to restore the damaged facilities and to carry out technological work in the current season. For this requires significant funds and, except for consumers, cannot take any other sources from these energy companies somewhere.
European allies are also helping Ukrainian energy companies to rebuild the industry and prepare for a new heating season. Ukrenergo has already received about 500 units of equipment, and more are being produced and will be sent to Ukraine. Thanks to the combined efforts, as of today, 80% of the damaged main grid has been returned to work, in some cases only partially, the press service of the energy company stated. Reported by Roman Smoler, Natalia Belokudrya, UATV News.